I'm Jane Elliott. I'm your blue-eyed bitch for the day. You people get in here and sign in. Now. I've come to Australia because we want to do the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise in discrimination, which I've been doing with people all in many, many places for many, many years. Take a name tag. Yep. Australia doesn't have a unique form of racism. Racism is racism. Sexism is sexism. Ageism is ageism. The dynamics are the same. I'm not here to criticize Australia. I'm here to do an exercise in discrimination based on eye color so that people will understand more about the racism that is in their society. That's what this is about. What color are your eyes?
Green.
Sit down. The core of the exercise is you take away people's power for 2.5 hours or for half an hour with adult white blue-eyed males. You take away their power and you accuse them of being inferior on the basis of a physical characteristic over which they have no control. You set them up to fail, and when they do fail, you blame their failure on that physical characteristic instead of taking responsibility for what you did to them. Are you going to stay or are you going to go?
Well, if I'm spoken to properly.
You're going to be spoken to properly for a blue-eyed person.
Well, I went to sign the thing.
I'm going to go to a group of strangers, and without knowing anything about their background, deliberately, not learning anything about their background, I'm going to judge them totally on the basis of the color of their eyes. You're either brown or you're non-brown. You're not part brown, you're not part
Hazel
blue.
is technically part brown.
Oh, part brown? That's like being part Aboriginal. You're either Aboriginal or you're not. Are you Aboriginal? I'm the power structure. I'm the person of power. I'm the one who can make it happen and keep it off. Sit. I'm the one who can stop it. Sit. I am the boss. Now, move your leg. I don't have to stand between your legs and I don't have to straddle one. Move your legs over.
Okay.
I am your prime minister. I am the teacher in a classroom. I am the authority figure. It's not easy for me in this situation to do this, but it's easy for most white folks on a daily basis to do this. I'd make a suggestion to you. Wipe that simpering. I want to please you smile off your face and do it now, because you're not going to be taken seriously as long as I see that on your face. I'm going to think she thinks this is a joke.
I was asked by a friend of mine to participate in the reconciliation workshop, so that's why I'm here.
I'm wondering if I'm going to be punched around.
I got told it was on racism, and that's the thing I hate more than anything in the world.
A good outcome would be if people sort of shared their feelings honestly.
I'm expecting to be harassed.
And I expect that maybe there might be some conflict or something like that could arise. I'm not too sure, but I'm quite prepared for it.
All right, folks, let's sit down. Let's sit down in the brown-eyed chairs over here. No, not those. Those are for blueies. These rows. Fill up the front rows of the red chairs. All right, people, I'm Jane Elliott. I'm your blue-eyed bitch for the day. You need to know that. Those are blue-eyed white people are absolutely certain that everybody in Australia has the same freedoms that they have.
Fair enough. You should have an interesting day.
Has anyone ever said to you, if all Aboriginals acted the way you do, we wouldn't have the problem we have with these people?
Many times. I had that said in a taxi just before Christmas.
Oh, so you've learned to act white, haven't you?
I did for survival.
Right. I'm not criticizing you. I'm saying, is this a fact of your life?
It is.
Is this a necessity?
Now. I'm very comfortable with who I'm now.
Right.
Yeah.
But did you have to do it to get over?
Oh, many of us did.
Many of us did, yes. Do you think white folks have to do that to get over?
No, they're born with natural justice and freedom.
Sure, are you a white person?
By colour, yes.
Yes, but are you...
I'm a Jewish immigrant. So I have a different kind of discrimination.
A different kind, but you can keep your Jewishness to yourself, can't you?
Yes.
Yes, if you choose to, you can.
If I choose to,
yes. Do you think she can keep her color to herself?
No, but she's gorgeous with it.
Hey,
I spent lots of time trying to get that color.
Forget it. You spend time trying to get that color, and you as a white person are going to die of melanoma. You can keep your religion to yourself. I don't know whether you're Jewish unless you tell me so.
Yes.
Do I know whether she's black?
I think you do.
I think I do. And can she cover that?
No.
I think she can't. And should she have to cover that?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No more than you should have to keep your Jewishness to yourself. But have there been times in your life when it's a good idea not to let anybody know?
Oh, especially when my parents and I went into concentration camp.
Yes.
That was a good time.
Ah, yes. And that was a concentration camp set up by a particular group of people in your country, right?
That's right.
In this country, how many of you think that Aboriginals are in fact in a concentration camp in their own country? Yeah. Now, how many of you have seen any examples of racism, sexism, ageism, homophobia, or ethnocentrism in Australia? It is my impression that when Australians say a fair go for all means if your skin ain't fair, you got to go. I'm kind of getting that impression. I may be wrong. Now, how many of you would like to see fewer examples of all those isms in Australia? Then, how many of you are going to cooperate with this exercise? Now, if you're going to cooperate, raise your hand and keep it up. Now, look around the room. Every person in this room has now made a public commitment to cooperate with an exercise in discrimination based on eye color, the purpose of which is to bring an awareness to these white folks that they haven't had before.
What happened just then? Did someone come and get you?
Yeah, basically we've just been sitting in a room quite quiet. It's got to the point where we're not allowed to talk at all. Somebody's come and got us and just randomly called out 2 names. We got called out a while ago and we're standing here waiting to see what happens next. Da, da, da.
Now, I know that Australians like to make a joke of things. That's part of the nature I understand of Australians. If they make a joke of things in here today, are you just going to say it's natural, or are you going to say that's the way you people are? That's the way you people are. Now, if we put these ignorant blue-eyed people next to you bright brown-eyed people, would they be comfortable? No. Where are blue-eyed people most comfortable? With their own kind. How many of you have heard that statement before? Absolutely. If we put these blue-eyed people in comfortable chairs that are padded, what do? Be comfortable, and once you get them comfortable, what do? They stay there, and then what else do they do this early in the morning? Go to sleep, because they get relaxed, and then they go to sleep. Do we want them to do that? No. So we put them in the middle of the room in uncomfortable chairs. Did we do this to be mean to them?
Yes.
No, people.
People who are watching and judging you.
What?
To let them know what it's like to be a minority and having people watching you and judging you. And
thank you very much. But did we do it to be mean to them?
As well.
No. I'll try this one more time.
We've been through it.
No.
Did we do it to be mean to them? No. We did it for their
Good.
Now we're getting there. You know the language, don't you? We put them in here for their and how should they feel about that? Grateful. And if they aren't grateful, what does that prove about them?
Ignorant.
They're ignorant, and they're ingrates, and they don't know what's best for them. But I, as a good Christian woman, know what's best for these people.
And if they adjust to it all, they're going to be accepted.
And if they can adjust to it all, they will be accepted.
Yeah.
As long as they don't try to marry one of my children.
It's like having the yellow star pinned back on again.
Yeah.
Guys, just back upstairs.
Now, this is the Flurry Test. We're going to take this test. These blue-eyed people aren't going to know many of these answers because they aren't as smart as you are. They aren't as curious as you are. They don't care as much as you do about people who are different from yourself. You're going to know at least half of these answers because you are caring people, because you are smart, because you do care about those who are different from yourself, and because I'm going to give you the even-numbered answers. Now, this is not cheating. This is called maintaining our position of power in this society. You are not going to indicate in any way that you have these answers. When you take this test, you're going to move your chairs back as far as you possibly can so that these people can't see your answers. Because if they see your answers, what will they do? Cheat. They'll cheat. They'll copy them. And believe me, they will. We're going to bring these people in here. They're going to be one of three things. Laughing. We know which ones are going to be laughing. Or they're going to just sit like this and take it. If they just sit like this, and what does this body language tell you? They're closed minds, they aren't going to learn. Or they're going to be angry. If they get angry and defensive, what are you going to say to them? Sit down and shut up. And what are their other choices? Get out. If they don't like it here, why don't they go back where they came from? How many of you have heard that one before? Yes. How many of you have heard that said to an Aboriginal? Yes.
And we come from here.
And this is your land. You're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're uncomfortable. Most non-Indigenous people in this country are not terribly uncomfortable when these things are happening outside this room. Most of them. If you don't think you want to be here, if you can't cope with your discomfort, then you need to be somewhere else. As a white person living in a country where I can just sit back and be on. Listen to me.
It goes against some of my.
This goes against everything I believe in.
You listen to me.
All right.
I have been running workshops and things for many, many years to bring about a better understanding and all that. I was just sharing with you that I do feel uncomfortable then being a perpetrator of the very things that I have been working against.
Okay.
Creating a better environment so our people can. I've been doing this from when I was about 21 to create employment in community. It's just that I'm not a violent person, and I just thought I'd share with you.
Okay, that's fine.
That
That's
this
fine.
exercise, but I'm happy to stay here as well.
All right, folks, bring 'em in. Look at this mess. This look like a very bright group? This look like a very bright group to you?
No.
See anybody who looks very interested?
No.
See anybody who looks very interesting?
No.
Get in the middle and sit on the chairs where you belong. You don't have a chair, come up here and sit on the floor. What do you think of the way these people have positioned themselves? Do you think this is the way they should be? No. If you came into a room...
No, I don't think they should be. I think we should move the chairs and make them all sit on the floor.
Yeah, and I can't stretch my legs out enough here.
Yeah. Well, now wait a minute. Let's deal with that. If you came into a room in which the chairs for your group were arranged in rows, 2 sets in each row, in rows of 2, where would you put yourself in front of those chairs?
The same.
The same.
2 sets.
Move over where you belong. Do we have to tell these people every single thing?
Oh, what about the one over here sitting on the chair?
No. No. Put the chair back.
Please.
Put the chair back.
You speak English?
Put the chair back.
Please.
All right, now, you're either my way or the highway. Do it my way or get out of here.
Nice way.
Out of here.
Highway.
Now, what have you just learned, people?
Here, dear.
What have you just learned?
Not.
Now, has anybody learned anything in here in the last 3 minutes?
Certainly have.
What's the first thing you learned?
Let's
What?
Don't push them.
Don't push them, because what will they do?
Get violent.
They'll get violent. Did I tell that man to behave that way? No. Who told that man to behave that way?
He did.
He did. Who is responsible for his leaving? He is. Did he have a choice?
Yep.
All he could do one of 2 things. He could either do it the way I tell him to, or he could leave. What did he choose to leave? What did he choose to do?
Leave.
Leave. Why?
He didn't like being told what to do.
He didn't like being told what to
He wanted to be
do.
respected.
He wanted to be respected, but he's a military man.
He's old. He's typical for that generation too.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, no. Sorry. I should put that into context. As
He and I are in the same generation.
As an Anglo elder man, that's how they act, because they know everything about the world. They're brought up in racism. They don't like being told what to do by women. And that's what I was reflecting there.
Okay.
And when he said, "Do you speak English?"
Oh, yes. And what
I
was...
think he's racist.
You think he's racist?
100%.
How many of you think he might be just a little bit racist?
I think so.
How many of you think he might just have a speck of sexism there?
If it was differently conducted, I'd be very interested to do it. And I'd have something to say too, but it's impossible for me with my nature to accept that sort of behaviour. Speaking to a grown man, you know, like a...
Now, the first thing you people are going to have to do is learn the listening skills. Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
No, I think you should teach me.
Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills? Listen to this. No, I think you should teach me. Is the boy in a controlling mode? You see that sign up there that says smart blue-eyed is an oxymoron? Do you see that sign? Do you know which is your left hand?
Maybe he does.
Raise your left hand.
I know.
Raise your left hand. Don't tell me what you know. Raise your left hand.
I know my left.
Raise your left hand. Isn't this too hard for him?
Yes.
Why doesn't he want to raise his left hand?
He doesn't know.
Because he wants to control.
Because I'm telling him.
Doesn't want to be told
Because
what to do.
he doesn't want to be told
what to do.
He doesn't want to take orders. He doesn't think this is fair. Do I care? No.
Smart enough to understand what you're saying.
What? Maybe not. Raise your left hand.
I think it's something to do.
You're going to play this defy the teacher all day?
Well, define the teacher.
Is that what you're playing? You're acting like a third grader. Mr. Guard.
Quite easily fixed.
We need this man out of here.
Yes. He's got an attitude problem.
Take him out of here. Take him out of here. Take him out of here.
Why don't you just be quiet and learn?
Participate, there's the all giddy up.
No, I am participating. I am participating.
You're not
by
participating
by in fact
you
showing
are
everyone what's going on.
disrupting our training exercise. There's the door.
Take him out. Why don't you just be quiet and learn something?
Because you don't understand.
Your mouth.
Because he wants to be the teacher. He does not want to be in the blue-eyed group. He wants to be a teacher. Take him out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Can't you learn something?
No, you can't learn anything whilst you're busy patronising people.
No, you can't do anything while you're being told that we're blue eyes as opposed to everybody else who apparently can learn. Now that's the manipulation that's going on.
Isn't that what we do with every day?
But just one chance.
We gave him, did we give him a chance?
No, you didn't. You just told him. But
did we give him a chance?
We gave him a chance.
Did we give him a chance to make a choice? He's a troublemaker. Did we give him a chance? Did we give him a chance?
Yes.
Did we give him a chance? Yes. Did we give him a chance? Did we give him a chance? You'd think we didn't give him a chance. Did you think we gave him a chance? Did he have a chance to shut up? Did he have a chance to shut up? Yeah. Did he? Did he?
Several.
Did he? Several. Thank you very much.
No, I think I've tested the limits a bit too far. As I say, it's a bit of a disappointment, but there you go. I've gone out of my way to work out what the limits of the game were, and I've found out what they are.
Now, I'm going to teach you the listening skills. Be sure you put your name on the front of that tablet. I want you to write exactly what I say, exactly as I say it. Don't use any mnemonic devices. Don't use any contractions. Don't use any symbols other than letters and numerals. Write exactly what I say. Don't take notes. Write every word. Number one, good listeners have quiet hands, feet, and mouths. Good listeners have quiet hands, feet, and mouths. What do you suppose you should have on your paper?
Black pen, Campbell pen.
What should you have in front of the sentence? A one, right? And then what are you going to write?
Well, I've forgotten now.
I know that you have forgotten because you can't remember things for any length of time, can you? All right, now I'm going to say it again.
Thank you.
Can you see really, really well with your glasses on top of your head?
Yeah, it's
Do you
fine.
have eyes in your head? Thank you very much. That's ever so much better. Good listeners have quiet hands, feet, and mouths. Let me see yours. Good listeners have quiet hands, feet. I like the way you go from cursive to manuscript. I mean, you know, from manuscript to cursive. That's really interesting. Let's be consistent, shall we?
Yep.
In the future, let's either do it one way or the other.
Okay.
Okay. Oh. Did you ever hear of a redundancy? You know what a redundancy is? What?
They give you money and you leave your job.
They give you the money and you leave the job. Because you are redundant, right? Oh my God. Redundancy is needless repetition. Like too much eyeshadow. Needless repetition. Now, aren't you the one I corrected for that very same behavior? Did you not hear me correct her? Did you hear that?
I'd already done it.
Did you hear me correct her?
I did.
So what should you have done after I corrected her? What should you have done?
Perhaps I should have crossed it out or rubbed it out.
Perhaps you should have? Would you like to amend that statement? What should you have done? If you had done it right, or if you had corrected it, would you be on the hot seat now?
Probably because I smudged there.
Would you be on the hot seat for this if you had done it, corrected it immediately? Who's the reason you're on the hot seat right now? Who's responsible for you being on the hot seat right now?
I am.
Thank you very much. Now, I want you to be responsible for getting rid of the redundancy. Getting rid of the redundancy.
It doesn't rub out properly, it smudges.
Getting rid of the redundancy. All the rest of these people have made contributions to your learning this morning. And you are only relating your learning to what you're learning from me. Because you and I can learn from one another. But we don't want to learn from those who are different from ourselves.
It's about the way you can, she's teaching now, it's different than what you've been taught. We had to put up the white man's education right through school. The white man's history, well, there wasn't our history. When I was in year 7, I didn't even know where I come from. I thought Captain Cook discovered Australia. And I didn't know we were lost at the time.
I understand that that's exactly the way the situation happened, and I feel sorry that that's what happened, but I can't change that in the situation that I'm in now.
But it's different,
The way you're behaving is not suitable to brown people, right? We're looking at you, we're listening to what you're saying, we're watching your reactions, we're watching your body language, and you are resenting.
No, but you're saying I have attitude, which is not. I'm clearly uncomfortable in the situation I'm in. It's not attitude.
But if your blue eyes and blonde hair, right? You should be able to answer the questions, right? You're the educated one.
I'm actually a dark blonde, so that's not the point here.
Excuse me. Caroline said she can't understand.
Wait.
She can understand because...
Wait a minute. Who's
She's
Caroline?
chosen not.
Wait. Who's Caroline?
This lady here.
No. She's Blondie.
Well, that's what I said.
That's exactly right.
She's Blondie.
I said blonde, blue
Just wait a
eyes.
minute. Take off your name tag.
And she said she's not.
Take off your name tag. Put the word Blondie on that name tag. And hurry up, please. We've spent enough time on you, too, now. Have you learned anything this morning yet?
Yes, I have.
What have you learned?
To look at the listener when they're speaking.
Anything else?
To be more considerate of the other person's position and listen to what they're saying.
Anything else?
Can't think at the moment.
Have you learned anything else this morning? Have you learned anything by what happened in here early on?
Oh, yeah.
What?
I can't write quite worded at the moment, really.
What about you?
To write it down.
What?
To be quiet.
Is that all?
And listen to you and not to give a grumpy face at you.
Yeah, does that teach you something?
That I have to listen to you.
Is that all?
And I have to conform to the way you want me to be and not how I am.
Yeah. Does that teach you something?
That I'm insignificant.
Yeah, does that teach you something?
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that teach you?
I'm worthless.
What does that teach you? If I can convince you that you're worthless in the about 45 minutes that you have been in here this morning, simply by forcing you to conform to my rules, which are totally arbitrary and totally unfair and make no sense to you whatsoever, if I can convince you that you're worthless in this situation in 45 minutes, what could I do if I did this with you for 30 years?
You could take away my self-being and who I am.
I surely could. And what if I did it to your children?
I think I'd be fairly upset, yeah.
You'd be fairly upset? And what if your upset caused more problems for your children?
I'd have to stand back and let it happen.
You'd have to stand back and let it happen.
say, how many of the Blue Eyes know about the 1937 meeting in Canberra that brought in the policies to forcibly remove Aboriginal children from their families? And you know what it said? It went on to say, and in 50 years' time, we won't have an Aborigines problem. So it was a deliberate breeding out program. And that's what many of us have suffered for all our lives, searching for our families, our identity and all those sorts of things. That I've been trying to educate non-Indigenous or white Australians to improve things for my people because of my experiences and the impact it has on our identity, our whole well-being, and yet you can't even sit and listen and learn in an exercise like today, which epitomises the attitudes and the arrogance and the difficulties that we still have in this country every day. I was 30 years old when I found my mother again, and within weeks lost her, and she's never been seen it since. I'm a stolen generation, and I work with stolen generations to try and get an apology from this nation for what happened to us. And you know the other thing? While I was growing up in institutions, I never had any of my other siblings, never had a childhood with them. And you know what? They're all still alive today. Got my older sister who's 80. That's what we're dealing with in this country. I never had any of my Aboriginal family at my wedding when I got married, when I graduated from the Royal Adelaide Hospital as a nurse. You can't even sit and listen. And that's what we're up against, is that deafness in this nation.
Let's see if you can remember the things that you've learned over the years. This is called the Flurry Test. I'm going to give this to you blue-eyed people. The brown-eyed people have a copy. We're all taking the same test. This is not unfair. We are all taking the same test. I want you to put an answer, a letter, on the line on the left side of each of these items. One answer on each line. You are going to have 10 minutes to take this test. We're all taking the same test, all right? This is not a plot. I'm going to read the answers to this test. Some of you have two test papers, your own and somebody else's. You're going to have to check somebody else's test while you're checking your own. Now, we wouldn't have to do this if it weren't for these blue-eyed people, but I can't trust them to check their own test. Number 1, C. 4 should be D, as in dummy. Number 12 is A. Number 20 is C. All right, I'm going to read these names. I want you to tell me the scores. Erica, what's your score?
15 right.
15 right? Is that your own score? 15, very good. Yep. Who has Ray's score?
I do.
What's
9.
Ray's score? What?
9.
9? I don't want her IQ, I want her score. 9?
9.
Where's Ray? Go get your paper. Now, let me point out to you what just happened here. You corrected her paper? You did her work for her, right? You corrected her paper. Did you do her a favor?
Yes.
Yes. You didn't have to do that work, did you? No. I told you to go and get your paper, right? What did that mean to you?
I should have thanked her.
But before that, when I said go and get your paper, did I mean make that woman lean as far forward as she can so that you only have to take one step to get your frickin' paper?
No, I didn't. No.
No, that is not exactly not what I meant. What should she have done?
Walked right over to me.
Walked right over to you and done what?
Said thank you. Collected her paper.
Gotten the paper and then said what?
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you do any of those things?
No.
Why not?
Well, I was told not to speak, so it was.
No.
We were told to be quiet.
Wait a minute. She was told not to speak. Is she looking for, and are you talking now?
Yes, I am.
So it was, you applied the rule then, but you aren't applying it now, right?
That's right.
And that's the reason you didn't say thank you, is because you were told not to speak. You were standing here talking while they were out, weren't you? You are full of, like a Christmas turkey, darling. Eva, is it Eva?
Yes.
What's your score?
16.
16, good scores. Who has Melissa's paper?
I've got Mel.
Mel?
Mel.
Mel?
Yeah. M-E-L.
We don't have a Mel here. We have a Melissa.
Yeah, I don't think she can spell properly.
She can spell Mel.
Yeah.
Ain't that swell?
Well, that's easier. That's small. That's 3 letters.
3 letters, right. Is Mel a little lazy? I suppose she wouldn't happen to be Blondie, would she?
No.
Where's Mel?
Blondie's friend.
Mel's Melissa, are you Mel or Melissa? Do you know who you are?
Wait, she's got to think.
Fitzgerald.
She's blonde, she's got to think.
My birth certificate says that my name
Your
is...
what?
My birth certificate says my name is Melissa.
Your birth certificate says your name is Melissa.
Yes.
And didn't you sign in, Melissa?
That is what's been written down for me.
How'd they get that information?
Yes.
Didn't you sign that?
Yes, I did sign that. Yes.
That is what's been written down for you?
Yes. No, well...
Bullshit. Nobody wrote that for you. Nobody wrote that for you.
Can you just hit me or something?
Who wrote Melissa on this paper?
I did. I already said that. I did.
Oh, it wasn't written for you, right?
I misunderstood what you meant by signed in as.
Did you sign in, Melissa?
Yes.
That's your writing, right?
Yes.
And you're a very nice writer.
Thank you.
You just can't remember how to spell your name for long periods of time. What's her score?
2.
2? 2?
Yeah, 2 out of 20.
2 out of 20. 2. Go get your paper, Melissa. Don't you even think of walking in front of her to do it. All right, who has Carolyn's paper? Blondie's paper. Who has it? What? 6? 6.
Would you like me to go and get my paper?
What are you waiting for? An invitation?
Yes.
She wants it written. Read that sign.
I know, that's why I was...
Don't read the sign.
Blue eyes are looking for someone to take care of
Now
them.
read it again, get it right.
Blue eyes are looking for someone to take care of them.
Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I am.
Well, do you think I'm going to do that?
Yes, I do.
No, I'm not. Do what you're supposed to do and do it now. Did she know what she was supposed to do? Yes. Is she being defiant? Yes. Is she trying to get me to take care of her? Yes. Is that good for blue-eyed people for her to act like this? No. Riley, what's your score? What's Riley's score?
Riley's score is 7.
Riley's score is 7. Where's Riley? Look at how she just gets up and goes and gets her paper. Now, is she a proper bluey? Annalisa, is it Annalisa?
Yeah.
What's your score?
14.
14, very good. Now, people, you can't judge these people's IQs by these scores, your intelligence quotients, but you can judge their caring quotients. White people's number 1 freedom is the freedom to be totally ignorant about those who are different from themselves. And our number 2 freedom is the freedom to deny that we're ignorant. And our number 3 freedom is to say to people who are different from ourselves, who accuse us of making a racist remark, well, you took it wrong.
Still got a long way to go before people they own or take responsibility to their contribution to racism against Aboriginal people in this country. And I do understand there's a lot of racism throughout the world, but I can only talk from a perspective from here. I think my own experiences is having guns placed on my 15-year-old son's head when he'd done nothing wrong, having been sterilised when I'd gone into hospital and I told them I was Aboriginal and they'd seen my husband with me, came out with no tubes. So I get annoyed when people tell me that they know what I'm experiencing or know how I feel or whatever. I can't go to another country. This is the country I come from, you know, like, and it doesn't matter how long you're going to be here, you're going to experience that stuff.
Now I want you to write 3 adjectives. 3 adjectives that describe how the people in the other group look to you during this exercise. May I see your paper? Well, you're the only one that's done it right so far. Okay, we're going to read these 3 words. Read your 3 words, how they looked.
Defensive, anxious, and self-conscious.
Defensive, anxious, and self-conscious. That's how these folks look to you. Read yours.
Uncomfortable, silly, defiant.
Uncomfortable, silly, defiant. Yours.
Apprehensive, pensive, and smug.
Smug. Read yours.
Tense, apprehensive, and I had sort of toss-up between arrogant and smug.
Read yours.
Tired, sad, and angry.
Tired, sad, and angry. Any of you blue-eyed people, you look sad. Any of you feel sad? What were you? Did you feel sad?
Yes.
What were you sad about?
Sad that this exercise is very necessary.
Sad that this exercise is necessary.
Yes.
And that's a crime. That this exercise, or anything like it, is necessary in 2001, going into 2002, is an absolute crime. It's a crime. What are yours?
Smart-assed, confused.
Smart-assed?
Yes.
Well, okay. Confused?
Intimidated.
Intimidated. Any of you people feel intimidated? You felt intimidated? You felt intimidated? Stand up. I intimidated you?
No, not you, the whole
the whole group.
the brown eyes intimidated.
Oh, the brown eyes intimidated you. How?
I think because I realise now how they feel. I know this is only for today. I thought I understood the brown eyes more than I do, and I've learned a heck of a lot from today. But yeah, I felt quite intimidated by them as a whole.
You know something? When you came up the step this morning, are you a teacher by any chance?
No, I'm not.
What are you? Yeah, I thought you were. You know what?
I'm a police officer, actually.
When you came up the walk this morning, I looked at you and I thought, I'm going to get that broad. First thing I thought, because you had my walk. You had the power struggle. You had the power stride, and you had your briefcase.
Yep.
And you had your security blanket. You had your power in your hand and your purse under your arm or over your shoulder. Which one was it?
Over my shoulder, I think.
Over your shoulder, and you had the stride. And I thought, I'm going to go after her. I'm going to fix her wagon. And then you came in, and you were one of the good ones.
Thank you.
You were. You were one of the good ones. And you listened, and you paid attention. And I thought, did I misjudge her? And now I know you're a police officer. I didn't misjudge you.
No.
She knows how to survive.
What?
She knows how to survive.
She knows how to survive, a female in a non-traditional job, right?
Yep.
And you've learned how to survive. And you hear this crap, I suspect, a lot of the time.
I do.
Yours.
Afraid, threatened, and stupid.
Afraid, threatened, and stupid. Were any of you people afraid this morning? You were? What were you afraid of?
Being belittled.
Being belittled? Why did that make you afraid?
Because I lose power.
You lose power? Were you afraid you were going to lose control?
I was afraid perhaps I might lose control of myself and perhaps cry, but I wasn't going to give you that.
That's just exactly what I thought you were doing. Did you work really, really hard not to lose control and cry?
Not really hard, but harder than I normally would.
Harder than you normally would. And is that difficult to try to learn in a situation in which you're trying to control and keep yourself from crying?
No.
Oh, it isn't? Would be for me.
I'm trying to think happy thoughts.
What?
I'm thinking happy thoughts.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I was thinking things that weren't making me upset.
When I was coming down on you, you were thinking happy thoughts.
I was thinking, don't get angry. Don't let her get to you. This is only pretend.
And you were doing what white folks can do. You were just removing yourself from the situation. Can you do that? Is it real when it happens to you?
Yeah, it's real every day of my life.
Yes, and had you better be aware that it's going on?
Look, you're aware of it.
And had you better pay attention to it?
Yep.
Yes. And if he doesn't pay attention to it when he comes to your department, is he in big trouble?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, what you did was called escape. You went into your little blonde head, and you escaped so that you didn't have to relate to what was happening to you. That's white freedom.
If you walk into a big chain store, walks to the store to have a look at some sporting goods, you hear over the intercom, can security go to the sports section? I'm the only one in the store. They walked straight around the corner and said to me, "What are you doing?" So my reaction was, "What the fuck do you think I'm doing?"
Read your words for how you felt.
Intimidated, insecure and stereotyped.
Do you usually feel intimidated, insecure, and stereotyped?
No.
Hell no, not with those white teeth and that blonde hair and that cute body. You never feel that way, do you? You know, and I know. Those are new that's a new experience for you. Read yours.
Suppressed, misunderstood and annoyed.
Suppressed, misunderstood.
And annoyed.
And annoyed. You think I don't understand you?
Definitely.
You definitely think I don't understand
sure.
you?
You have no idea where I come from, what I've been through and what I've done.
Do I
in my
care?
life. Obviously not.
No, why should I?
Don't turn around and say that I don't know nothing about prejudice. I know more about prejudice than anyone in this room.
How do you know that?
Hey, I was born in Greece. I came over here on a boat, okay? I worked in a fish shop when I was 10 years old. I had no one come up to me and say, "Wog this, wog that." I had to fight.
What colour is your skin?
What does it matter?
Does.
Huh? Aborigines used to come into the shop and say, "Hey, white cunt, come on, white cunt." You know what I mean? Come on. That happens to you, but hey, it happens to me. It happens very soon.
I know what you're thinking is we are minimizing your suffering.
Definitely. You have no idea. You have absolutely no idea what it's like to go into a school. You can't speak the language and everyone's saying to you, "Hey, you talk wog." Is Italian, is Greek, is French, doesn't matter, mate, it's all wog. You can talk wog, come on.
Why do you think we don't have any idea?
Do you really think that the Aboriginals in this room have no idea of how that feels?
I'm not saying they don't, but hey, experience that other people do, okay? Just because you've got blue eyes, mate, don't mean that everything's been hunky-dory.
Do you have, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
My name's Terry.
Was your name Terry when you came here?
No, it wasn't.
What was it when you came here?
It was Eleftherios.
What?
Eleftherios.
Eleftherios. And how did it get changed?
It got changed because the teachers couldn't write my name. And it was all such a hassle. Everyone used to call me Alphabet and One.
Alphabet and One.
And One.
I can sympathize with you up to a point. I can even empathize with you up to a point. And the point is where I look at the color of your skin and know that no matter how different you are in other ways, you're still white.
I thought that it's a good experience. You can see some real emotion on some of the blue-eyed's behalf.
Read yours.
Nervous, uncomfortable and interested.
You were nervous? What were you nervous about?
About what might happen.
What were you uncomfortable about?
Also about what might happen.
About what might happen? What did you think might happen?
To me. I was expecting to be intimidated and harassed a bit.
And were you?
Challenged, yeah.
Yeah, but mostly you too. Just weren't you glad you were sitting at the back of the room?
Definitely.
Yes, yeah, and that was really good for you two, wasn't it, to sit at the back of the room?
Well,
I should have put you. Yeah, I should have put you at the front of the room on the floor. Seriously, people who get off the floor say, "Thank God I'm off the floor." It makes a big difference not having you look down on me. Now, read your words about how they looked. Did you read how they looked?
Yeah. Oh, well, now. Confident, powerful, and relaxed.
You people in the brown-eyed group look comfortable, powerful, and relaxed. Read yours.
Big, powerful, and confident.
Big, powerful, and confident. I look big to you.
Yeah, right now.
Stay down. Read yours.
Powerful, organised and threatening.
Powerful, organised, and threatening. Read yours.
Aggressive, annoyed, and offensive.
Aggressive, annoyed, and offensive. Read yours.
Sad, powerful, and a listener.
A listener.
Yes.
Well, that's a valuable thing to be, isn't it? Read yours.
Strong, scary and dominant.
Strong, scary, and dominant. Now, these people described you as strong, scary, dominant, blah, blah, all that good stuff. Read how you felt.
I felt equal, relaxed and comfortable. He's working across with the brown eyes.
Was this a good experience for you, having being on top for a change?
Yes.
Yes. Is that kind of a relief?
Yeah.
Yes. Totally. And if you are on top and you feel, what'd you say, relaxed?
Comfortable.
Comfortable.
And equal.
And equal, then why would you give it up?
I don't want to give it up.
Read yours.
Angry, surprised and sad.
What were you surprised about?
I've sat on both sides of the fence, and I like it better not having a colour that's on my face all the time.
Don't you, though?
I do.
And is that honest? Is that an honest
Painfully
reaction?
so.
Yes, yes. Read yours.
I was comfortable until you moved me from the back to the front.
I almost had you get up and pick this guy up and take him out of here. Read the other two.
I felt comfortable, powerful, and I was a bit apprehensive about what was going to happen.
Satisfied, satisfied, and satisfied.
Satisfied, satisfied, satisfied. Yes.
It's a walk a mile in my shoes sort of mentality, and without that experience, whilst people can say, look, I understand where you're coming from, that's a load of garbage, because no one's lived the life that I've lived, or other people like myself have lived. So if they have it for a couple of hours, then so be it, and if they go out and do something about it, then that's good.
It's not much fun being on the receiving end of completely illogical abuse all day, I suppose, and probably gives you an insight into how other people have to live their lives.
You know, you think you know intellectually, but you don't internalise it until you go into this kind of situation where your emotions are being drawn on.
Certainly not going to forget how this feels. Not very quickly at all. I'll tell a lot of people about what happened, whether or not that makes them change or not. I think everyone will probably have to experience it themselves for it to make a real difference.
I'm dealing with the Aboriginal people, and I want to understand more about their culture, the way they feel, the way they think, and today certainly has brought that out. I found it very, very rewarding, very frustrating, and at times I felt quite intimidated, cranky, angry, but I think at the end of the day I'm going to take a lot away from here, and it's been well worth coming.
Hopefully, if we change one person's life and change the way one person thinks, so hopefully it'll be good.
It was fantastic, the fact that we were forced to conform to an unfair system, and there was no way out, and we were going to be punished if we, or in some way emotionally derided, if we weren't going to conform, even though the spirit is jumping up and down, I guess.
I think the exercise is good in the sense it's making the white Australians, the blue eyes, realise that they also have a responsibility to understand the history and to help change things for us.
Yilo Wujiyangala, and that's a Bundjalung phrase for where are you going? Okay, so where are we going?
Yep.
That's the question we should all ask ourselves. If we do nothing, nothing will change.
Coming up in the news, the Pacific Century, George Bush signals a greater regional role for America and its military. The Prime Minister shifts from defence to attack on the children overboard affair. And East Timorese militia leader Eureka Guterres charged with crimes against humanity.
Bricks, topsoil planks, and mine menu ute.
Bricks, topsoil planks, handbrake. Ooh.
Bugger. Bugger.
Bugger.
Bugger me.
You'll always look good in a Hilux.
In March 2002, your life will change. Over 10 days, your perspective will shift. What you see, feel, and hear will change the way you think. You will be moved. You will be inspired. You will experience the Adelaide Festival 2002.
On the movie show, The Stolen Generation's Long Way Home in Rabbit-Proof Fence.
How are we going to get there? Walk.
Will Smith is the greatest boxing legend of all time in Ali.
If I want to die, I'll die right here, right now, fighting you.
The hunt for the infamous Jack the Ripper in From Hell.
You're not going to see the 20th century.
When the movie show returns, Wednesday night at 8.
In our last program, we revealed the conspiracy to assassinate Zimbabwe's president, Robert Mugabe.
I'll definitely say that Mugabe is going to be eliminated.
Planning the killing at this secretly recorded meeting, Zimbabwe's opposition leader, Morgan Tsvangirai.
If we were committed to any illegal means, then we should be out of this country planning these things.
More on the Tsvangirai conspiracy, Dateline 8:30 on Wednesday.
Thursday.
Just amazed to see that the government has set us up to get a lower return for our grain.
The New South Wales grain growers are on the warpath.
Put a levy on the crop that gets rid of the bastards.
All of those in favour?
Insight with Jenny Brocky returns 8:30 Thursday.
Hoe werkt dat? Als een lift.
Ja, wel fijn dat ze hier een lift hebben. Kom maar zo'n hekel aan trappen.
When a life passes, opportunities are lost.
Ik vind het jammer dat oma dood is. Ze had mij het misschien best leuk gevonden.
So when the chance comes to build something new.
Zou je het leuk vinden om met opa mee te gaan? Alleen?
Don't let that chance slip by. Because you might just find that being a child
Ik kan vliegen!
is sometimes just a state of mind.
Hoe is het nou met je, Willem?
Goed. Met jou?
Ook goed.
Scratches in the table. 10 o'clock, Friday. Saturday night, the inside story of America's 1993 Somalian misadventure.
You hear the bullets bouncing off of it, the RPGs would smack it. Bam, bam!
As we would attempt to move wounded through this kind of small hole, people would get shot.
How what began as a popular humanitarian relief mission turned into America's fiercest ground fight since Vietnam.
Somalia got caught up in the poor relationship between our people in uniform and the new Clinton administration.
Causes, combat, and aftermath.
Our lack of response in Rwanda was a fear of something like a Somalia all over again.
Ambush in Mogadishu on As It Happened, 7:30 Saturday.
We've been recording some great young Aussie talent here at Whatever Music, so come on by and check out who's having a shot at the fame pie. Whatever your music, www.sbs.com.au/whatever.
Be on the ball and be a winner. Visit echoice.com.au before the end of February. And as well as having your home loan requirements matched with the best deal free, you could win a house cleaner for a whole year. Be a winner with eChoice.
President Bush flies into a storm of protest after spelling out his vision for the Pacific. John Howard toughs out criticism on the children overboard scandal. The EU hits back, imposing sanctions on Robert Mugabe. And behind bars, but is George Strait Fiji's fall guy? Good evening, Lee Lin Chin with SBS World News Tonight. South Korean protesters have burnt American flags and clashed with riot police at a military airbase in Seoul tonight, where US President George Bush has arrived on a 3-day visit. Protests also erupted in other major cities, with America accused of stoking tensions on the Korean peninsula. Earlier, in a speech to Japanese politicians, Mr. Bush vowed to defend South Korea against aggression.
George Bush flew out of Japan buoyed by his reception there, but the next stop on his Asian tour will prove more challenging. His visit to South Korea is dividing the country. In the capital Seoul, South Koreans staged rival demonstrations for and against the president. For these war veterans, the presence of US troops here is an essential deterrent against any threat from communist North Korea. Bush says North Korea is part of the axis of evil, says this man, but he doesn't really mean it. Others aren't prepared to give Mr. Bush the benefit of the doubt. These anti-US protesters say his axis of evil remarks have heightened tensions on the Korean peninsula. The US should immediately stop interfering and waging war, says this protester. South Korean leaders are also worried that George Bush's hard line may undermine attempts to engage North Korea peacefully. Ahead of the president's arrival, security was stepped up along the heavily fortified border. In a speech before he left Japan, Mr. Bush pledged to defend South Korea and other US allies in the region.
We will deter aggression against the Republic of Korea. America will remember our commitments to the people on Taiwan.
But such pointed comments won't go down well in Pyongyang or Beijing.
Well, North Korea will, of course, adopt, I think, the same position that it adopted when it heard that it was in the axis of evil, which was to say it is preposterous and it's unwelcome. The Chinese will say something similar.
But President Bush is expected to seek a gesture of peace from North Korea during his visit to the peninsula.
Israel